Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We're your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 17, Identity and Change.
Ooh. So, Mariah, how was your week?
So, in the time since we've recorded a main feed episode, which, by the way, subscribe to our exclusive little club. Yeah. I don't know what to call it now that it's not like anchor.fm anymore. It's just like on Spotify. So unfortunately, I think it's only if you listen to us on Spotify.
But if you do.
Yeah, it's like $2.99, and we put out monthly bonus episodes, and like plus other things. But we covered the MCU movies, and this month we did Black Panther. Ooh. And it was very good.
It was really good.
But anyway, in the time since we recorded a main feed episode, we had a hurricane hit my town. Like, if not directly, then very close to directly.
Yeah.
Everyone's fine, and even the house is mostly fine, but the patio roof thing collapsed and fell on my mom's car.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. I had evacuated, so she, called me panicking. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Go back inside.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
But the car's not totaled, so
good.
That's good.
Good. Yeah, I think last I heard there was some, weird insurance loophole or something.
Yeah, but there really was not much damage on the car.
Cool. Well, yay!
Yay! Okay, I've gone on too long. How was your week?
My week was, it was okay. I, most recently, I bought new pillows.
Nice.
Because it makes me really, irrationally angry when I wake up to, get ready for work, and then I see David roll over and start using my pillows. It's something in me just breaks. I really hate it, but it also feels really stupid, so I don't ever say anything about it. So I was like, I'll just buy new pillows. You can have them. But unfortunately, buying pillows is weird, and I don't understand the language for it or what they're made of. So the ones that I bought are they're fine, I guess. I don't really like them. They kind of suck, actually. So I'm thinking maybe I'll give David the new ones, and then maybe he will stop taking the ones that I like.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but that's all.
All right. So, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
So this episode was written by George Kitson and directed by Gary A. Brown.
Ooh, G&G.
Yeah. Do we meet anybody new?
I don't know if Hope counts as new. Because we technically already knew about her, but I think this is the first time we've seen her.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen her.
So, Hope.
She's cute.
Very cute. I love her.
I love that, it's so bittersweet. Because, obviously, that is real. His biggest regret.
Yeah. And
so, she's obviously going to be his fantasy child, exactly like him. She's in every way.
Yeah. And then he calls her Spark Plug.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, you had an initial fun fact.
Oh yeah, I do. So, starting with this episode, the introductory sequence previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer narrated by Clark Gregg, who plays Phil Coulson, but by Daisy Johnson actress Chloe Bennett.
Oh my god. Wait, so it's like that for the rest of the show?
I cannot remember, but I think so, if this fun fact is to be believed. So,
Interesting.
spoiler alert. I don't know.
Okay. So does that mean
Does that count as a spoiler?
I don't know. Does that mean that, like, we've kind of switched, like, points of view? We've switched perspective a little bit from like,
maybe
Coulson
so, like,
being the
Coulson
main
being
character.
the main character. Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh. I didn't think that deep into it, but I think you might be right.
Wow. Okay. I love when they let us know that, but, like, really subtly. That's like, that is a Taylor Swift level Easter egg, and I love it. So we start off, and Coulson just catches us up so succinctly, as he's like processing what Daisy is telling him in his classroom. And he says, "I knew I wasn't crazy. It's the Hydra soap." And I love that he's a conspiracy theorist, but not the right kind of conspiracy theorist. Unless the soap thing is real, but I don't know. Anyway, so Ward calls and warns Daisy that Hydra is on their way to the school to get Coulson, so they have to get out of there pronto.
The student, Amy, who interrupts Coulson before class with the comment, "My homework's done, I swear, but then my dad," is Clark Gregg's daughter, Stella Gregg.
Oh my god, wow. Her premiere. That was pretty funny. I love that he was like, "That's great, but before the bell rings is my time."
She's like, "Okay, geez, sorry."
That's so funny. Well, speaking of dad and daughters, we meet Mac.
Yeah, Mac.
I
missed him.
I know. He and his daughter, Hope, are building drones together, obviously. And she's a fucking genius, obviously. But she, just like her dad would have done, she stole parts of a broken Hydra drone that she found. And Mac is fucking shooketh about it. So he's like, "We have to put this back where we found it. I'm going to take care of it. Don't worry." And then they just kind of leave it. And then they go to the bus stop. And she knows motorcycles by the sound alone, which is very Mackenzie of her.
So, like, the way that Mac is just like one of those dads that's like, "Don't worry, like I will take care of everything for you." Like,
yeah,
I will not let any harm come to you. Like that. That's how my dad was.
Yeah.
And I just
Aww.
and I just loved that Mac is a single dad who works too hard, who loves his kids and never stops.
With a gentle hand and the heart of
The heart of a fighter. He's a survivor.
Yes. So, but dun dun dun. Hydra shows up at their bus stop. God damn it. They are armed and loaded and demanding everybody's IDs. Just before they get to Mac and Hope, she suddenly remembers and tells Mac that she has the drone in her book sack. Because she didn't want her dad to get in trouble, so she was going to bring it back to where she found it.
Just like Mac.
They are exactly alike. So he takes her bag from her and says, "Okay, I will handle it. Don't worry about it." But he's clearly terrified. Luckily, though, the guy right next to them decides to make a run for it because he is listed as a potential Inhuman. So Hydra arrests him, and then they go on their way because they don't actually give a fuck about all of this. They just wanted to catch someone doing something. So
Yeah.
Oh my god. What a terrifying, awful world. So, Daisy and Coulson meet up with Simmons at her apartment, and Coulson apologizes for reporting her to Hydra. And he's very serious about his soap. Okay. He says he makes his own, and he can help her out with that. So,
I loved that. And you should too.
Yeah. Coulson is desperately trying to keep up as Daisy and Simmons are like discussing what to do next, which is hard enough for the rest of us. For someone who's like, no, I just kind of had an inkling that something was wrong, and now I'm in this.
Yeah.
But Daisy is like adamantly refusing to let Simmons talk to Fitz.
Poor Simmons. Like, she is so convinced that she could get through to Fitz.
I know.
Yeah.
And like, I believe in her. I think she could if she had the time. But also I don't know how she would. They just need like true love's kiss, and then that'll do it. But Coulson recognizes the name when they bring up Radcliffe and pulls out an article clipping that because he just carried that around with him. That he saved from when Radcliffe was coming up with a cure for Inhumans. But unfortunately, Radcliffe hasn't been seen since the article came out and this picture was taken.
How mysterious.
I know. So Daisy tells Simmons and Coulson to go meet up with the resistance members that Ward told her about, and she'll go back to the Triskelion to find out where Radcliffe is. They split up so much. I hated it. Fitz, back at Hydra, walks in on Ada discussing the subversive, and finally convinces her to show him who it is. He looks at the iPad and the picture of Simmons for a long moment, and then finally says that he'll send his team out and that Ada can consider this threat eliminated. And then Ada says, "You'll really do anything for me, won't you?" And he says, "I'd cross the universe for you." And then they kiss, and Caroline vomits, stage left.
I can't tell if that's just who Fitz is at his core, that he just loves big, or if Ada is, like, co-opting his love for Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, no, either way, it's awful. I hate it. I feel like it is the second, though, because of what Radcliffe says later when he's, like, telling Fitz who he is in the real world and like, who Simmons is to him. And he says, you did cross the universe to save her. That felt like it's on purpose, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's being manipulated into it.
Yeah. 'Cause, like, they have his memories. Like, it's so yucky.
I hate it. I hate it so much. And you know what's weird? He's one of the few characters on this show that I do not think is hotter as evil.
No, yeah, I agree. He's meant to be a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that he's bad at acting evil, because he's very good at it.
He's fucking
like,
terrifying.
Oh my god, he's terrifying. He's not, like, sexy terrifying.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah. Not everybody can or should be. He is simply terrible. It's so unsettling that it cannot possibly be attractive in the least.
And if you disagree with us, please send your thoughts to Agents of Nothing at...
Yeah.
Is it Agents of Nothing podcast at Gmail or Agents of Nothing? Oh my god, I forgot.
I think it's Agents of Nothing Pod. Maybe.
Hold on. Let me check. Now we're off track.
Yeah, come debate us in our email episode at the end of the season.
Debate me, bro. Please don't. I hate debates.
Actually, debating sounds like the worst thing in the world. But you can tell us your thoughts, and we'll tell you our thoughts.
Yeah.
And we can just have a very polite exchange of ideas.
Oh, it's okay. It's Agents of Nothing Podcast at Gmail.
There we go. Okay. Email us, please. And don't worry about spoilers because Mariah filters that out for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway. So, oh my gosh, we are getting close to another email episode, actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I just realized how far we are.
Yeah, wow. There really is only a few episodes left.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I just realized. Okay. So Daisy is back at her desk at Hydra, ready to get the intel and get out. And Ward annoys her, of course. It slows her down, too, by redundantly reminding her how dangerous it is for her to be here. Like she doesn't fucking know. And she says, this would go a lot faster if you would quit mouth breathing on me. Fucking get him, Daisy. I love how mean they are to him. So he sees her look up Radcliffe and like download a restricted Hydra file, and then says again how dangerous that is. And she says, the soap made me do it. And I was like, is he supposed to know what the fuck that means? Because what? Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, didn't Coulson make that up? What?
Yeah.
That was great.
He was so confused.
The best thing about this universe is that they get to be Ward. They get to be mean to Ward again.
Yeah.
And he just has to take it because he doesn't know what's going on. So Ward follows her to the exit before May catches up and calls Daisy back over. So Daisy covertly slips Ward the info on Radcliffe and says to get it to Simmons and she'll know what to do. Coulson and Simmons are waiting for their contact with the Resistance, who finally appears, and after Coulson answers their password riddle very unsurely, they get cuffed and hooded and then stuffed into a van. And I just loved Simmons being like, is this really necessary? And Coulson being like, cool! And then once at their destination, the hoods come off and they are face to face with Jeffrey Mace, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mace!
Finally!
I actually missed him too.
Yeah. He was a lot hotter in this world too. Because he like grew out his little stubble and he was always in shadow.
Yeah.
It was just like when he was all dirty that time.
He's got a lot more self-confidence in this world too, I think.
Definitely. He says that they had to take precautions, but since Ward vouched for them, S.H.I.E.L.D. is happy to offer Simmons and Coulson sanctuary. And it's placed at the like real world HQ, which is very interesting for Ada. But it's much darker and emptier, obviously. And Coulson is so excited to meet the Patriot. He's like just as excited as he was to meet Captain America. He's like, oh, I love your suit is so cool. I drew sketches of it one time. Jeff tells them that Billy Koenig found them this bunker, and they have been working to get it up and running for the last few years. Then he shows them the memorial wall with the names of their dead agents written on the bricks, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, the names of several of the series behind-the-scenes staff appear on the Wall of Valor, including Paul Zbyszewski, Aaron Girton, George Kitson, who wrote the episode, and Brent Fletcher.
No DJ Doyle.
No DJ Doyle!
What the fuck?
My favorite DJ!
He's DJ'd like half of these episodes, okay? Then they go past a room full of like people on cots, all of them potential Inhumans that are being hunted by Hydra but are safe here at S.H.I.E.L.D. Ward arrives then and tells Jeff that Hydra got Skye. Back at Hydra, May escorts Daisy back to the conference room where Fitz is briefing a team of soldiers to find Simmons. Daisy very conspicuously asks May if she knew about this, and May just looks at her. Because obviously, what do you mean? Also, I don't know what she thought this May was gonna say. Like, yeah, she knew about it. She called you into this meeting. What?
Yeah.
Fitz continues with his monologue and says that they will find these terrorists and make our society great again. Fucking MAGA jump scare, obviously. And then everyone except Daisy says Hail Hydra, but I'm unsure if May caught it or not.
So yeah, in the boardroom at the Triskelion, Fitz says, "We will make our society great again," echoing Trump's "Make America Great Again" slogan. This is another among many Trump references in this season 4 arc.
It's so... I know this is like every show was doing this. Because this was what, 2016?
I think 2016 or 2017,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just... Oh, every time that this happens on a TV show where they're like, something great again, and it's like, it just slaps me in the face over and over again. Anyway, so Mac's daughter is there like at home, and she asks him about the Inhumans. Why are they being arrested? Are they bad? Do we hate them? Like, how should she feel about them? Which are very good questions.
Yeah.
He tells her that they don't hate them and they're not all bad, but he can't explain why they're all being arrested. So he just tells her that he doesn't want her to worry about it, which is not an answer, and that absolutely would have driven me insane as a kid and now. So instead he offers to make some popcorn and watch a video, and she requests Chopping Mall, which, if I remember correctly, is definitely one that Mac has referenced before.
Yeah, Mac and Yo-Yo like bonded over it.
Oh, Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't even remember her. Ward starts to get suspicious of Simmons, saying that Skye only started acting weird since Simmons showed up. Simmons gets indignant, obviously, and says, "Oh, the Hydra double agent is suspicious of me." Jeff reminds her that he only allowed her in here because he trusts Ward, not her. So Simmons pulls out her ID and says that she fought and took a bullet for S.H.I.E.L.D. and had to claw her way out of a mass grave. How's that for loyalty? They very quickly apologize. The way that they were like, thank you for your service. Okay. Moving on. Ward finally gives Simmons the info that Daisy told him to, which is coordinates to some place called Ogygia. Ogygia. Oh. Sorry. Which is apparently in the middle of nowhere, of course, obviously.
So Radcliffe's private island, Ogygia, which this is the reason why I know how to say this fucking name, shares its name with the island from the Odyssey that is home to Calypso.
Ah, your other
it's
special
Greek
interest.
mythology.
So Jeff says that he doesn't have a team that can be ready to go today, so Coulson says that he can send them. And Jeff's like, you're a teacher. You're not a spy. Why would I send you? Coulson's like, all due respect, it seems like you need all the help you can get. What's the line in God Help the Girl?
God help the girl, she needs all the help she can get.
Okay, thank you. That was gonna bug me. So Simmons convinces Ward to let them go by saying that Daisy risked everything for this information. Thank you. So Ward tells Jeff that he will accompany them. On the van, Daisy tries to check in with May and ask if all of this is really necessary for just one subversive. It seems like such an extreme reaction. And May says to just be quiet and do your job. Hate that. Not that real May wouldn't have also said that, but
yeah. But like,
still,
it's different.
Different undertone, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So they get out and burst into this house, and Daisy rushes towards the screaming. May is grabbing Hope and pulling her into the other room while she's screaming for the soldiers to let go of her dad, Mac.
I forgot about this part, like, until it happened, and then I remembered, like, the rest of the storyline. Yeah. But if there is one thing that makes me cry, it's children screaming in fear. So I was not okay during this scene.
It was very intense. I also cried and definitely had to, like, take a minute to catch my breath before I could keep going. Definitely the combination of, like, children screaming in fear and also, like, the image of a black man surrounded by military armed cops and, like, trying to de-escalate and advocate for his child when, like, the cops themselves are the aggressors. Very upsetting, and all
Absolutely.
Too familiar, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
But they're okay. Everybody's okay.
Everything's fine. Everything's
okay.
fine. Isn't this a fun little escapist TV show?
Oh man, and this was in 2017, so it would have been even more, like, in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. So back at S.H.I.E.L.D., Jeff leads them all to the hangar, which is clearly in disarray, but he says that they are working on it all the time, and he imagines that it will be a thing of beauty one day with a whole fleet of Quinjets housed there. And Simmons gives Coulson a knowing smile, and he's like, okay.
He's so confused this whole time. He has no idea what's going on. And Simmons thinks because he, like, sort of remembers a few things that she, like...
She's like, you know what I'm talking about. And he's like, I really don't. But once Ward is far enough ahead of them, Coulson asks why Simmons didn't tell the others about their simulation and, like, the real world. And she says not everyone is ready for that kind of information. And Coulson's like, was I? I don't know. But he's still pretty in awe of the Quinjet that they step onto. And Simmons says, just wait. You won't even believe Zephyr 1.
And Coulson's like, well, what's that? I mean, he wasn't, but, like,
yeah,
in my mind, he was.
At Hydra, Mac is being interrogated by May and insisting that he and Hope are innocent. She says no one who ends up here does so by not doing anything. He tries to at least get her to spare his child, but May says just because she's a child doesn't mean she's innocent. Oof. Okay, so this May's trauma has still spilled over into, like, every facet of her life, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
So Simmons is in the cockpit with Ward when he asks if Radcliffe is dangerous. He just asks stupid questions all the time, and I hate him. But she gets to say, not physically, but sometimes the greatest threats are the ones right in front of you, with a withering glare directed at him. He thinks that he understands. He doesn't, but he thinks that he does, so he apologizes for leaving Skye behind. And Simmons says, I'm sure she'll be alright. But Ward continues saying that if anything happens to her, he'll never forgive himself. I would die for her. And Simmons just looks at him and goes, I'll give you a minute. And then leaves. She's like, bitch, whatever. I wish you would. Like, please. So Simmons goes to the back to give Coulson a pep talk. He's a nervous flyer in this world, and he's still kind of in shock that this is happening. He says he just wanted someone to believe him so he didn't feel so crazy anymore, but he didn't expect all of this. Simmons assures him that he's not crazy, and no matter how he spends his life right now, bachelor who makes his own soap or not, that he is exactly where he's supposed to be.
Coulson was married in this world.
I know.
I wonder to who.
I don't know. Because remember, one of his, like, things in his file was about the cellist, but he wouldn't have known the cellist if he wasn't an agent, right?
Yeah, because she lived in Portland, I think.
Yeah. So
so I have to really suspend my disbelief for this storyline, because isn't Coulson from, like, Wisconsin? Why would he be teaching in D.C.?
I don't know.
If he's just a civilian.
Maybe he, like, went to school in D.C. or something.
Maybe. Okay.
You never know. People move all over the place. Anyway. So Ada catches Fitz in her office, finding out that their subversive is supposed to be dead already. She informs him that Simmons has, quote, crossed over from the other side to destroy what Ada and Fitz have built here. Fitz already knows about this other world to a certain extent because of what they call Project Looking Glass. And to his knowledge, Ada escaped that world to come here because, quote, the worst thing happened. S.H.I.E.L.D. won the war. And she tells him that, like, they kept her as their slave, and that everything that she has done, she, like, escaped to this world, and then everything that she's done was so that she and Fitz could be together. And I believe that part, and it's disgusting. Which, it's such a, like, an interesting revisionist history.
Yeah. I did find it really interesting that she, like, she said that they treated her as less than human.
Uh-huh.
Which is true.
But because she was not human. They created her. She is literally an object. Yeah. Yeah. So Daisy is with Hope in the other interrogation room, and she promises her that her dad will be okay. She passes May in the hallway, who says that she hasn't broken Mac yet, so Daisy goes in on her own. Mac says he needs to talk to her, and when she asks if he knows who she is, he says, "You're Daisy Johnson, and we're both S.H.I.E.L.D. agents." And Daisy is overcome with relief and says that they need to catch up with Coulson and Simmons, and that Yo-Yo is on the outside waiting for him and so worried about him, and he is so clearly confused that she finally stops. And then he opens his hands and reveals a tiny microphone that says that, and then says that that's what the other agent told him to say. Oh, fuck.
The whole thing was just a setup to catch Daisy.
God. And, like, so May would, I'm so confused about, like, how much May knows. Like, and I guess because of Project Looking Glass or whatever, if Ada has told them this other story, so then she gave the, like, names and information and, like, told them who to bring in and stuff.
Yeah. I also kind of feel like in this world, the agents don't really need to be told the whole story. Like, they're not demanding it. They're kind of just falling in line. They're just like, okay, well, Madam Hydra told me to tell this person to say this, so I'm going to do it. Yeah.
I think I meant more like, did May just know that this is Sky's other name, or did Madam Hydra just tell her a name to use? And she's like, okay, I'll use that name. You know what I mean? Or if she knows that,
I'm confused.
Because I'm like, basically, did May come up with this plan, or was this a plan from Ada?
I think it was a plan from Ada. Because May doesn't, like, this May doesn't know Daisy. Like, she knows Sky because they worked with Sky, but, like,
yeah,
it's like a different Sky.
I'm just like, if they, wouldn't Ada already know that, like, Sky is wrong?
I guess even in a police state, you need to justify beating somebody up. if she, I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's their coworker.
Yeah.
And so they would be like, wait, why are we doing this? But also, I just said that they wouldn't do that. So I don't fucking know.
Whatever. It worked, I guess. Regardless of whose idea it was. So Ward, Simmons, and Coulson have... It's so weird to say those three names together. I feel like I just went back in time. Anyway, okay. Ward, Simmons, and Coulson have found Radcliffe and have him surrounded. He's initially confused about Ward, but then quickly realizes that it's not Hive. You're the one who came before. Simmons tells him this isn't a social visit. And then she commands him to come with them, help them find their friends, and escape this world. But he says there is no escape. Fuck. Back at Hydra, Daisy is almost in the clear. Oh my god.
She takes down a whole elevator of agents solo.
She's amazing.
Hell yeah, Daisy.
I love her so much. But May and her soldiers surround her in the lobby and then begin beating the absolute shit out of her. And I just think it's interesting that for all the, like, gigantic guns that they have, they sure do a lot of, like, schoolyard bully type of violence. Like, literally just, like, push people down and then form a circle and start kicking them. That's so weird. What?
It is so weird. Like, I wonder if it would have been, like, more impactful or maybe, like, too intense if, like, they just, like, tased her.
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe maybe in this world they just celebrate that, like, I don't want to say pure, but, like, pure violence of, like, they want to see her with, like, a bloodied face and bruise her internal organs and stuff, or I don't know.
Yeah, well, that sounds like Hydra. I mean, now that you're saying it.
It's still very weird. What a weird thing to watch. Anyway, so Radcliffe and Simmons are still talking about everything, just, like, very normally, in front of Ward and Coulson, who are so confused. And then they see Agnes in the distance, and Radcliffe tells them that she's dead in the real world, and that actually Ada killed him too. He says that the exit he built has surely been discovered by Ada and destroyed, and Simmons says that her exit doesn't work either, so Radcliffe says that that must mean that Ada knows that she's here. Just then, a giant plane hovers over and lands right next to them. Obviously! Radcliffe tells them to run and hide, and on the plane is Fitz and Ada and a fucking army.
Yikes.
While Fitz and the soldiers go searching the island, Ada and Radcliffe have a confrontation. Sorry, I just saw your note. Ward tells Simmons that here, Ada goes by Madam Hydra.
And I put, Caroline is going to laugh her ass off at Madam Hydra.
I did. She couldn't think of anything else.
It's actually a character from the comics, which I can't believe they didn't write a fun fact about.
Yeah.
And I should have looked it up. That's also my bad.
Okay.
But it is a comic character.
Okay. All right, I guess. So Radcliffe says that Ada has taken things too far, and now all she does is lie. She says that all she did was take away people's greatest regrets. The way that things go from there is not up to her. And besides, she says that he taught her that lying is okay to save someone's life. Whose life is she saving?
Her own.
Yeah. Radcliffe says, "Don't use my words or my programming against me, Ada." And then she gets mad and says, "Don't call me that here." Ada is an acronym. But she no longer wants to be seen as an artificial thing or an object. And then Fitz brings over Agnes and interrupts.
I do always think about that. Like, when I think about this particular part of the season 4 storyline, one of the most memorable lines, to me at least, is Ada is an acronym. The A stands for artificial.
Yeah, that was a good...
It's like, it's equal parts, like, striking, but also, like, it's kind of funny.
It is. The delivery was so good. She just like spits out every word.
Yeah, she is pissed.
She mad. Back at Hydra, Mac and Hope are reunited, and they watch as Daisy is dragged past them, bloodied and bruised. Hope gasps and says that Sky was nice to her. Oh my god, I just teared up for a second. Okay. May comes behind them and thanks Mac for his service. And Hope looks at him just with such a look on her face. He hesitates and then says, "Hail Hydra," so that May will leave them alone. Oh my god. What a, situation to be in. Because, he has to do whatever they say to get his daughter out of there. But, oh my god, the look on her face.
Yeah.
And he agrees, thankfully. Radcliffe and Ada both tried to convince Fitz to believe their side of things. Fitz says that Radcliffe is acting like they know each other, and so despite Ada's protestations, Radcliffe explains that Fitz was like a son to him. And that this isn't the real Fitz. Fitz points a gun at Agnes and says to convince him that it isn't him. Ward, from their hiding spot, aims his rifle at Fitz, but Simmons begs him not to shoot. She says that she'll tell him everything, but she knows in her heart that the Fitz that she knew would never kill an innocent person. So they continue to watch as Radcliffe speaks over Ada, who is trying to tell them to leave, and explains that Fitz helped him build Ada in the first place. They watched football games together, real football games, matches, sorry, and spent so much time together. He tells Fitz about Simmons and how they loved each other so much that he actually literally crossed a universe to save her. And eventually Fitz stops him and says that this is him, actually, and then he shoots Agnes point blank. And as she falls, Simmons steps out from the trees and screams, and Fitz finally sees her. Oh, that was so intense. And then the guns on both sides start firing, and Coulson instinctually pulls Simmons behind him and covers their backs as they run to the Quinjet just in time and fly away. Simmons is in shock at just how evil this version of Fitz is, and Coulson puts aside how cool it is that he just remembered how to do that, and tries to comfort her as well as he can. Back at S.H.I.E.L.D., Jeff is furious that they missed an opportunity to kill the Doctor. He and Ward keep demanding answers from Simmons, and Coulson tries to, get them to give her a minute, but they keep pushing and yelling, and so eventually she stands up and says, "This isn't even real!" and then runs off. Which...
the best way that could have gone.
Objectively, that is so funny. But just then, a new arrival has been brought to S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's Mac! He says that Hydra used him to bring in a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent named Daisy Johnson, a.k.a. Sky, and that he wants to help make it right because for the first time, he couldn't look his daughter in the eye. We almost have the whole team back together.
Yeah.
And that's it for the main episode. Are we ready?
We're ready.
And now it's time for the post-content content. Daisy is slumped in the corner of her cell, listening to Radcliffe's screaming and begging through the walls. Some of it was kind of funny. He's like, He's like, I'm really good at begging. I can go back to that if you want. Fitz comes in to see her, though, and she tries to tell him that they know each other and that she can explain everything. He says, somebody else tried to do that today. How interesting. Maybe you heard him through the walls just now. And then as the guards come in to drag her to the torture chamber, she says, Fitz, you don't want to do this. And he just smirks and says, yeah, I do. I guess you don't know me at all. I hate this. I hate it so much. Ah!
Overall thoughts?
This show really is just like, how can I cause the most pain possible over and over and over again to every single person? And they're really good at it. What about you?
I agree.
There were like no fun facts. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Hopefully next time it's a little bit less sparse. I don't think there wasn't a Wikipedia page for this episode, but there was like an MCU wiki page, and that had some trivia.
Okay.
So yeah.
We'll see.
All right, well, that concludes our episode on Season 4, Episode 17, Identity and Change.
Woohoo.
Next time, we'll be covering Season 4, Episode 18, No Regrets. So stay tuned for that.
No regrets. Okay, bye.
Bye, love you.